Malik Adeyemi, one of the most powerful men in the business world, stood at the window of his quiet estate watching the sunrise. 4 years, he had spoiled his family with everything they ever asked for: cars, luxury homes, lavish trips. But still, he felt a growing emptiness. Their conversations with him were short, mostly requests disguised as love. And the more he gave, the less they seemed to notice him. That morning, his reflection in the glass whispered a truth he had ignored for years: they care about what he provides, not who he is. He made the decision after overhearing his sons arguing in the hallway about who would inherit the largest share if he finally disappeared. Their voices didn't carry sadness, only greed. Malik felt something inside him break. He walked back to his study and opened a sealed envelope he'd prepared years ago, containing a plan no one knew existed. If his family only valued his wealth, then he would remove it from their reach and let the truth reveal itself. Before sunrise, the estate manager found Malik's empty bed and a handwritten note suggesting he had passed away peacefully in his sleep. Panic erupted. His children wailed dramatically, staff whispered in shock, and the news spread fast. But no one knew that Malik was watching everything from a hidden room beneath the estate, alive, breathing, and determined to discover who truly loved him. By noon, Malik's eldest daughter, Zay, was crying loudly in the living room, but Malik saw her wipe her tears the moment she thought no one was watching. She immediately began asking for access to his accounts, insisting she needed to organize things. His eldest son, Tay, nodded sympathetically to her face but later called a lawyer to demand the will be read as soon as possible. Malik's youngest child, Amira, who had always been quieter than the others, simply sat on the staircase hugging her knees, saying nothing. The estate transformed into something between chaos and celebration. Relatives Malik hadn't spoken to in years began arriving with fake crying voices and dramatic stories about their special bond with him. Malik watched from the hidden surveillance screen and almost laughed. They never visited me, but now suddenly I was their best friend? His disappointment deepened. But among the noise, Malik noticed one person behaving differently: his longtime housekeeper, Litha. Instead of joining the crowd, she went to his study, placed his photo gently on the desk, and whispered a small prayer. Her eyes carried genuine grief, not performance. Malik leaned closer to the monitor. She was the only one who seemed to miss him instead of his wealth. 3 days later, the will was read in the grand hall. Everyone expected to walk away rich. Malik watched each of them from the hidden room on a private screen he had installed years ago for emergencies. Z whispered to her brothers that she planned to sell off the estate the moment it became hers. Tay smirked, confident he would take control of everything. Amira just sat quietly, her eyes distant, as though she knew something no one else did. The lawyer opened the file and began reading. Gasps filled the room as he revealed the shocking twist. Every asset, property, business, and account had been temporarily frozen. No one could touch anything until a full investigation confirmed the cause of death. To make things worse, Malik had left strict instructions for everyone to remain in the estate for 2 weeks to honor his memory together. They couldn't leave, everything was locked down legally. Chaos erupted instantly. The siblings shouted, blaming one another. Malik watched his children crumble, not from grief, but from frustration that they couldn't grab the wealth fast enough. But then he saw something unexpected. Amira stood up and calmly said they should all stay together peacefully, because that's what their father would have wanted. Malik leaned back, surprised. Maybe one of them still had love left. The next days revealed everything Malik feared, and a few things he didn't expect. Zeri and Tay grew colder toward each other, each plotting how to outsmart the other when the assets were unlocked. They held secret conversations at night, trying to manipulate the lawyer, the staff, even each other. Malik could almost predict every selfish move they made. Amira, however, stayed in Malik's old office almost every night. She would sit on his chair, run her fingers over his books, and talk softly into the silence. "I wish you knew I loved you, even when I didn't say it." Malik felt his chest tighten. He never expected her to miss him the most. She had always been quiet, but he now saw it was because she watched everything, understood everything. Meanwhile, Litha continued to maintain the estate. Instead of joining the family drama, she cleaned, prepared meals, and kept Malik's belongings untouched. Malik was touched when he saw her dust his favorite reading lamp and whisper, "You worked too hard, sir. I hope you found peace." The quiet sincerity in her voice made him rethink everything. Unable to access the wealth, Z and Tay grew suspicious. They convinced themselves someone must have been manipulating Malik before his death. They searched his office, checked his safe, questioned staff, and even secretly followed Litha around the house, assuming she knew something. Malik watched all of this unfold with a mix of irritation and amusement. When they couldn't find anything, Tay suggested the unthinkable, that Malik might not actually be dead. Z laughed him off at first, but then, she paused. If he faked his death, he could be watching us right now, she whispered. Malik almost choked on his water in the hidden room. They were smarter, and more paranoid, than he expected. To Malik's surprise, Amira also started searching, but quietly and with a different purpose. She wasn't looking for money, she was looking for closure. She searched his journals, his old letters, his favorite books, trying to understand who her father truly was. Malik's heart ached watching her read his old notes and smile sadly at his handwriting. One evening, Amira found a strange switch behind Malik's bookshelf. Malik froze. It controlled one of the ventilation shafts leading to the hidden room. When she pressed it, the faint sound of machinery hummed somewhere deep in the estate. Amira frowned, sensing something unusual. Malik held his breath. But before she could investigate further, Z barged in demanding to know what she was doing. The siblings argued until Amira left the room in tears, leaving the switch untouched. Malik exhaled in relief. It was the closest anyone had gotten to discovering him. Later that night, Amira sat outside alone, staring at the sky. Litha approached her quietly, offering warm tea. "Your father loved watching the stars from here," she whispered. Amira rested her head on her knees and murmured, "I wish I had told him I loved him more." Malik felt his eyes sting. That one sentence hit him harder than anything else he had witnessed. As the days passed, Zay and Tay grew more aggressive in their quest for the inheritance. They confronted staff members, accusing them of hiding information. Malik watched with growing disappointment. Their hunger for wealth had completely overshadowed any love they once had for him. Meanwhile, Amira formed a quiet bond with Litha. The housekeeper shared stories about Malik's kindness, how he once helped her daughter through school, how he stayed up late reading alone, how he never forgot people's birthdays. Amira listened, tears slipping down her face. "I didn't know him at all," she whispered. Litha placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You knew him in your heart. That's what matters." Malik felt a warmth he hadn't felt in years. If only he could reach out and comfort her too. Inside a hidden drawer, Malik had left a letter addressed to whoever truly loved me. He intended it for whichever child showed genuine affection. But he never expected anyone to find it this soon. Late one afternoon, Amira discovered the drawer accidentally while searching through Malik's old desk. She opened the letter and read Malik's heartfelt words about love, loneliness, and his desire to know who cared for him beyond his wealth. Her tears fell onto the page. She pressed the letter against her chest and whispered, "I love you, Dad. I always did." Malik felt his throat tighten as he watched through the surveillance feed. Zeri and Tay later found Amira holding the letter and immediately accused her of hiding information. Malik watched as she defended herself, her voice shaking but honest. She told them she wasn't after the money, she only wanted their father back. Malik realized then that she was the only one ready to truly receive him. Tensions exploded in the house when Zay and Tay cornered Litha, accusing her of manipulating Malik while he was alive. Litha, calm as always, simply said, "Your father loved you all. But you never looked at him unless he had something in his hand." The truth stung, and Z slapped her. Malik slammed his fist on the desk in the hidden room, furious. Amira ran to protect Litha, standing between her and her siblings. She shouted at them for their greed, calling them out for their selfishness. Malik watched the confrontation unfold with both pride and heartbreak. His children were more divided than ever. That night, Malik knew the moment had come. He couldn't watch his family hurt each other anymore. It was time to reveal himself. The next morning, the family gathered in the living room, restless and frustrated. The lawyer had called them, saying he had updates. As they waited, the front door slowly opened. Heavy footsteps echoed across the marble floor. Then Malik stepped into the room, alive, tall, calm. Screams erupted. Z fainted. Tay stumbled backward, eyes wide. Amira gasped and rushed toward him, covering her mouth with trembling hands. "Dad?" she whispered. Malik nodded with soft eyes. "I never left, my child. Zay woke up furious, demanding explanations. Tay accused Malik of cruelty. Malik simply raised a hand. I needed to know who loved me and who loved my wealth. Now I know everything. Silence swallowed the room. No one dared speak. Malik revealed the footage he had recorded from the hidden room. Zay and Tay plotting, lying, manipulating, and fighting over money. Their faces turned pale as they watched themselves on screen. The more the video played, the smaller they looked. Then Malik turned to Amira and showed clips of her grieving, searching for answers, reading his letter, and protecting Litha. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She hadn't known she was being watched, but her actions were pure. Z tried to defend herself. Tay tried to apologize. But Malik shook his head gently. I don't need words. I saw your hearts. And that simple sentence changed everything. Malik made a final decision. He announced that he wouldn't divide his wealth equally. Instead, he would reward the one who cared for him, not his bank account. Zeri and Tay gasped when he declared that Amira would receive the estate and full control over his businesses. The room fell silent. But Amira, with the soft heart she had always carried, surprised everyone. She stepped forward and said she didn't want everything for herself. She asked Malik to teach her how to run things with kindness, and she wanted to give her siblings a chance, but only if they changed. Malik smiled proudly. She had inherited not his wealth, but his wisdom. In the end, the family slowly rebuilt their relationships. Malik spent more time with Amira than he ever had, guiding her, listening to her, learning from her. And Litha became an honorary member of the family, loved and respected. Malik's fake death had revealed painful truths, but it also gave his family a second chance, and that was the greatest wealth of all.